Have you been considering whether or not the Sigma 28-45 f1.8 is the lens that you should bring with you on your next run and gun shoot? If so, this video is for you. Hi, my name is John Vogt, and today I'm going to share with you my experience using the Sigma 28-45 f1.8 lens on a run and gun style shoot. I reached out to my friend Tyler to see if he would be interested in creating a documentary about skateboarding with me to help showcase the capabilities of this lens. Now, this shoot was more of a run and gun style because I didn't know what my locations were. I didn't really have any idea of what my shots were going to be. All that I did as far as pre-production was create a few questions that I knew that I wanted to ask him during our interview. So stick around to the very end and you can watch that edited together piece and listen all the way through this video to hear my experience using the lens. So the first location we shot in was Tyler's apartment building. I found myself backed up into hallways, trying to squeeze as much as I could out of the 28mm because I really wanted to see the geography of the space. And I found myself wishing that there was just a little bit more latitude on the wider end of this lens. So I was using the FX6, and the autofocus capabilities of this lens were pretty darn good, I'll say that. I was trying to shoot as much as I could at f1.8, and I did try manual focus a couple of times because I found that the autofocus was just locking on things that I didn't necessarily want it to, but I ended up defaulting to the autofocus because I would rather focus on the move of the shot rather than on the focus and the move of the shot. So it eased up my mental bandwidth and allowed me to just focus on what I was doing in that moment as far as composition, rather than trying to pull focus and work on my composition at the same time. So the next location that we were shooting at was the front of Tyler's apartment building. I zoomed into the 45 and was trying to capture close-ups of his feet as well as his face, and I also captured a wide shot of the front of the apartment building as he walked out. I found that given that I had as much latitude as I needed to kind of back up, I was able to get the shots that I wanted. So the focal length of this lens didn't necessarily inhibit me from getting the shots that I wanted like they did earlier when I was in a much more confined space. So the next couple of locations that we were shooting at were just neighborhoods. I was capturing Tyler crossing through a frame on his skateboard, and at this point the lens was feeling a little heavy, but I'd actually prefer it to be a little heavier, the camera itself, because then the camera doesn't feel as much of like a shaky handheld feeling. It's much more fluid, it feels locked in. You can see in some of these shots where I'm following behind Tyler, aside from my pushing, the camera feels pretty rigid in what it's doing. It doesn't shake when I'm traveling over bumps or over cracks. It feels pretty locked in. So what I really like about this lens actually is the fact that there isn't a whole lot of flexibility in the focal lengths. 28-45 isn't a whole lot of room to kind of play with. And in my case, I think it made me more creative with my decision making. It wasn't as standard as like a 24-70 where, say that I needed to get closer, I could have just zoomed in. No, in this case I needed to actually walk in, and when I'm walking around, sometimes I'm going to find shots that I normally wouldn't if I had so much zoom to play with. So I think that the strongest part about this lens is that it's going to make you more creative, especially in a run and gun scenario where you do have to move around more to try and find that shot rather than just stand in one place the entire time. Also, the fact that you have the f1.8, like, it's crazy. There's so much separation between your subject and the background that it really focuses on what's there in the frame and helps focus the eye to what it is you want to tell your audience or what story you're trying to tell your audience. And I really like that. I'll probably be using this lens a lot more in my kit because it's going to challenge me. It's going to make it so that I am only kind of using this focal length. But I'd say that this 28-45 is an area that I've never really played around with. I'm usually somewhere in like a 24 land and then probably a 55 because I do like my prime lenses. But the fact that this kind of bridges that gap between those two focal lengths makes me really excited to see what I'm capable of capturing. So what's my verdict? I think yes, you should definitely pick up this lens if you're in a run and gun scenario. You know, the fact that it is limited in its focal lengths is just going to make you more creative. It's going to make you step into areas that you weren't stepping in before. You know, if you're going to put this thing on a gimbal, there's no extension in the barrel. So you throw it on a gimbal, you're not going to have to rebalance when you change focal lengths. It's going to be great for run and gun scenarios, especially with the f1.8. I think the f1.8 is going to be something that's going to separate your cinematography from other people. It's also going to speed up your process. You know, say that there is someone else on a shoot with you that is using prime lenses, then, you know, maybe they want to shoot something with like an f1.8 or below because it's getting dark. Well, you already have that built into your lens. You're not going to have to be fumbling through lenses, doing lens swaps, rebalancing, whatever. I think that overall this lens is fantastic. While its weight may be a little bit on the heavier side, it's just going to make you stronger, you know? And what's wrong with being a little bit stronger, you know? Over time, you're going to think, wow, I used to think this thing was heavy. Man, now this thing just feels like any other lens that I'm picking up. It feels like a prime lens that I'm picking up. So yeah, my verdict is yes. Pick up this lens if you're going to be using it on a run and gun shoot. That was the review. Now let's continue on to the video.
The first time that I stepped on a skateboard was probably, I don't know, I must have been like 5 or 6. And I remember very vividly just hearing out my window someone skating down the street and hearing the wheels go ka-dunk, ka-dunk, ka-dunk. I skated to school, baseball, diamond, the swimming pool in the summer. Like, that's just the only way we got around. I feel like 10, I got my real first board with like metal trucks. Because back then they had plastic trucks. I think mine were like yellow plastic trucks, and I even like broke them one day because I was trying to get on a curb. Sweating, you're bleeding, breaking boards. Once you get it, that's all that counts. I think as I get older, skateboarding is only getting more fun because I'm somehow still learning new tricks, still keeping up with friends. It's a good reason to hang out with your friends. Skateboarding is one of those things where I'm hooked. Don't want to say addicted, but it's something that I'm just always going to do until the wheels fall off, they say.
So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. What I'd love to ask is there anything that I missed? You know, is there a scenario that you're thinking of possibly using this lens that maybe you would like to get some information on ahead of time before you go and rent it or borrow it from a friend or purchase it from a store? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like me to capture using this lens so that you are more educated in going into your purchasing or your renting experience. You know, I want to be here to educate people that are interested in what I'm doing, and I want to hear from the people that are watching me what they think. So thanks so much for sticking around, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.